Sienna Russell, grade 9, with a poem titled Getting Friendzoned 2.0.
I don't want to upset you or anything. 8 words that gutted me. My heart sunk as I realized. I already knew it. The other people around me didn't seem to think the same way, saying things like, "Oh no, you guys are cute together," or "No, it'll work out." I seemed to be the only one to know from the start. But it doesn't really matter, is how I answered. But it really did matter. It mattered the most. I think about it every day, and I ask myself why. I ask myself, is there something wrong with me? And I ask myself, why does no one ever love me like I love them? I try not to show my emotions, or else I see myself as weak, just to show that I'm happy. An hour ago, I was thinking about how good the past 2 weeks have been, but now I'm sitting on my bed with dry tears on my face, puffy eyes, and red cheeks. To see myself through that special someone's eyes, to see why they don't like me, or for them to see through my eyes and see how beautiful they are and how special they are to me, how they make me feel, how they make me smile, a real genuine smile. That person has a special place in my heart that no one else could ever have. And I'll admit I am completely terrified of how much I like them. I think of them almost every passing minute that I'm awake, and I never understood what I thought they saw in me. To see myself, the chance that they did see something in me, to see why they don't like me that I saw about them. Or for them to see through my eyes, I didn't deserve how beautiful they are and how special. I go through my darkest moments alone. I wipe my own tears, how they make me smile, in my mirror reflection, telling myself that I'm overreacting. That person everyone always says place it's not okay. No one else could ever have. Could be not. No, and I'll admit I'm completely terrified of how much I like them. But really, it's not okay to not know how to handle your own emotions and feelings. And I never understood when nothing feels real and days blend into each other. Everything feels so weird. The same way it's like I don't know what I'm feeling. For them, I felt as though I didn't ever know how much I like. But really, it's how could someone not know how to handle your own emotions and I never understood when nothing feels real and days blend into each other. Important and wanted. No, I'm not upset. Everything feels so weird. The same way it's like I don't know what I'm feeling. And I felt as though I didn't ever how much that. But really, it's how could someone
Thank you. Let's see those scores, judges. We have a 4.5, a 4.4, a 4.4, and another 4.5.
No, I'm not upset. Everything feels like I don't know what I'm feeling. And I felt as though I didn't ever.
Next up, we have Armand Adley from grade 9. Should chip bag.
Thank you. Let's see those scores, judges. We
have a 4.5, a 4.4, a 4.4, and another 4.5.
I'm not upset.
Imagine you were sitting on a couch, watching a movie, and then you reach
next up,
for
we have
a
Armand
snack
Adley
and grab
from
a
grade
bag
9.
of chips.
Should chip bag.
Thank you. Let's see those scores, judges.
We have a 4.5, a
This has
4.4,
probably happened
4.4,
to
and
you, and you probably didn't like it. But there's a reason for this major inconvenience. The chip manufacturers intentionally add air to the chip
Another
bags to
4.5.
cushion the chip.
I'm not
Imagine you were sitting on a couch, even though this is enforced, and then you reach
next up,
for
we have
air
Armand
to add and grab
from
the
grade
bag
9.
of chips.
Should chip bag.
Thank you. Let's see those scores, judges.
We have a 4.5, a
Just as
4.4,
probably a lot of
4.4,
chip
and
brands fill their bags with so much air that there's a reason for this major inconvenience. I'm mainly talking about the chip manufacturers intentionally add air to the chip
another
bags to cushion the chip.
4.5.
Imagine you're sitting on a couch, and then you reach
Next up, we have
air
Armand
to add and grab
from
the
grade
only
9.
brand I
Should
can
chip bag.
Thank you. Let's see those scores, judges.
We have a
They have the
4.5, a
wonderful and
4.4,
process a lot of the
4.4,
chip
and
brands fill their bags. It was so much maximum. There's a reason for air with a major inconvenience. Barely fit. I'm mainly talking about the chip manufacturers intentionally add air to the chip
another
bags to cushion the chip.
4.5.
Imagine and then you reach
Next up, we have Armand
and grab
from
the
grade
only
9.
brand I
Should
can
chip bag.
Thank you. Let's see those scores, judges. We have a
They have the
4.5, a
wonderful and
4.4,
process a lot of the
4.4,
chip
and
brands fill their bags. It was
Thank
so
you,
much
Armand, for
maximum.
your
There's a reason for air with a
chip to
major
air
inconvenience.
ratios.
Barely fit.
Judges, let's see those
The
scores.
chip manufacturers
A 4.3,
intentionally
a
add air.
4.6,
Another
a 4.4,
Imagine And then you reach
Next
out
up, we have Armand
and grab
from
the
grade
only
9.
brand I
Chip
can
bag. Thank you. Let's see those scores, judges.
They have the wonderful
Okay.
a lot of different brands fill their bags.
Thank you, Armand, for your
There's a reason for the
chip
way
to air
that
ratio.
very
Judges, let's see those
the
scores.
chip manufacturer intentionally
A
add air.
4.6,
Another
a 4.4.
And grab
From
the
grade
only
9.
brand I
Chip
can
bag. Thank you. Let's see those scores, judges.
They have the wonderful a lot of different brands fill their bags.
Thank you, Armand, for your
There's a reason for the
I like
way
to air
that
ratio. Judges, let's see those
the
scores.
chip
One of the
manufacturer
aforementioned, you might throw in a "shut up, you're annoying" or "you suck." And while those are fine to say, it's just very likely that's the millionth time they've ever heard those insults. And I get it. Sometimes it's hard to come up with insults on the spot. But don't be a twit. Have a battle of the wit. I'd rather have someone come up to me and say, I'd rather have someone come up to me and tell me with a creative set of, I'd rather have someone come up to me with a creative set of words that don't work than someone call me a jerk. Come on, how about you be creative for once? Be bold. I like to hear you say, "You resemble preternatural mold." Even Bill Shakespeare, the great bard himself, used to insult in clever ways. For example, whenever your friend is smelling like leftover food in the kitchen sink, don't be boring and say "you stink." Come on, be creative. Tell them they are the rankest compound of villainous smell that ever offended nostril. Or, if you're stuck with a loudmouth schmuck, don't just say, "Hey, shut up." Be bold, be brave, be creative. I'd like to hear you say, "Oh, speak to me no more, these words like daggers enter my ears." Even just spicing up some common insults will level up your game. You ever hear someone say, "Go take a long walk off a short pier"? Why not, "Go conduct your extended peripatetic meanderings on an abbreviated levee"? Or, you ever hear someone say, "Go soak your head"? Why not, "Undergo cranial immersion"? And after adding some cheeky insults to your vocabulary, some might call you conceited. That you may correct them by saying, "I'm the apotheosis and epitome of polysyllabic pedantry and the complete antithesis of self-effacement." Or maybe just don't do that. But remember, the worst you could do, the very worst, would be boring, bland, obtuse. Be bold, be creative, be brave. Call them an odious, errant knave.
Thank you. Judges, let's see the scores. 4.4, 4.6, 4.5, 4.5. Nope. Okay. Our next poets are Alyssa Out and Elora Marsh, in grade 10 with their spoken word titled The Butterfly Effect.
A butterfly flaps its wings on one side of the earth and it leads to a typhoon on the other side of the world.
The butterfly effect. The butterfly effect is an idea created to demonstrate chaos theory.
Chaos theory being a highly sensitive branch of mathematics dealing with systems so complex that even the smallest change in its conditions could have astronomical consequences.
The Big Bang led to life as we know it, and one small seed led to a tree that's hundreds of years old.
Even the smallest decision could lead your life onto a totally new path. What you ate for breakfast, what you decided to wear today, it all has an effect on our lives whether we recognize it or not.
We say that most things that happen in high school won't matter to us in a couple of years from now. This may be true, however, it doesn't stop these effects from taking a toll on how our life will turn out.
Realizing the fact of not knowing the answer to one question could ultimately be the reason you don't get into the university of your choice.
We're 15, sitting in classroom deciding which classes to take for the following year, already stressing about how our lives will turn out 10 to 15 years from now.
The classes that set us up for the program and university we want to get into, even though we're only 15, and we all know the program we have in mind right now most likely will not be the same in 2 years.
Unfortunately, we can't see this far into our future, so as we cross our fingers and pray that our future selves won't change too drastically.
These prayers and good thoughts are irrational as we look back to even a few months ago, we've already changed.
Change is inevitable as we are part of the human race after all, but it can't be a coincidence how people meet their soulmates in the most random of places.
It can't be a coincidence that me and my best friend have the same music taste, favorite color, and shoe size.
It can't be a coincidence that me and my mom have the exact same personality. It can't be a coincidence because the universe doesn't do coincidences, it only does consequences. The reason every snowflake has its own patterns could be the consequence from an earthquake a million years ago.
Perhaps when my voice sounds the consequence of a thunderstorm.
Maybe this is the reason we all have different fingerprints, handwriting, and favorite foods, as it comes from a consequence of anything and everything happening.
The day I was born, I imagined waves crashing a certain way on a beach, and that is why my favorite color is purple and my favorite scent is vanilla. The smallest thing can set off chain reactions across the globe.
At one point, the world only had one religion, and with one person in disagreement, there is now over 4,000 religions today.
A virus that started with a bat resulted in 6 million people dying globally.
It only takes one person to speak up, and because of it, everything changes. Looking down at your phone just once could change everything.
The decision to stay in rather than go out could save your life, but you would never know it.
And smiling at a stranger on the street could save theirs, but you would never know it either.
People always say to never leave someone mad and to always say I love you before you go, because you can never know what would happen next.
Every word, thought, and decision could be the beginning or end of something good or bad. That could be why they say to think before you speak. I now understand why.
A raindrop drops in a puddle on one side of the earth, and because of it, life itself changes.
The butterfly effect.
Thank you, poets. Let's see those scores, judges. We have a 4.7, a 4.7, a 4.7, and a 4.8. Great job. Our next poet is Kira Tomlinson with What Change Brings.
Can I start? Okay. I'm so done with change. It's such a pain, and it always goes the same. I've been to 5 schools, and people always say that's cool, but it's really not that fun. I've had regrets with everyone. They start with the news and why. I let out a sigh. Please don't hate me. My parents made me, and I don't want to go because I'm making a mistake, and I know. Then my parents would say, some kids hate change. They just want everything to stay the same. I'm so grateful you aren't like that. I'm so happy you don't get attached, and part of me took pride in that. So I rushed my decision. I didn't take time for it to sink in, thinking I'll be fine if I can fit in. And a better school would always sound so cool until I was sitting by myself like a fool. After the announcement comes my friend's denouncement. They'll make me stay, or else I'll pay. And how I wish things could go their way. But now it's too late, and I have to accept my fate, although I'll really miss this place. After the shock dies down and friends stop looking at me with a frown, they start to act like I'm not leaving, making plans for the years like my presence won't be receding. And it makes me think, please, can someone make time freeze? I need to make memories that last. Looking back, I should think that was a blast. So I'd stop walking on glass and start stomping on grass. It doesn't matter if I do something wrong, because by the end of the year, I'll be gone. Then that short-lived euphoria is over, and now it's the last day. Best friends forever, we say. It doesn't matter that I'm going away. One phone call a week, month, year. Looks like our friendships disappeared. But that's okay. We'll just remember it from here. I'm not sure how long it's going to take before I stop repeating my mistake, because it seems I'm doing one more take. About 250 miles. That's not too bad, but it still makes me rethink the few lives that I've had, because maybe if I'd stayed in one place, I'd have been able to save some face by avoiding all those "hi" and "who are yous?" Because I'm sure some of you know how awkward those are to go through. Or that one person I'd still be friends with if I'd had time to make amends with. I should have messaged one more time instead of waiting for my phone to chime. But now it's way past time. So now I think about the things I should have done before our friendship was overrun by me, by the change that I brought upon myself. All that, among many things, is everything that change brings.
Amazing performance, Kira. Judges, are your scores ready? We have a 4.6, another 4.6, another 4.6, and a 4.8. Next up is Dania Samara, a grade 10, with her spoken word titled Occupation.
Occupation, that word does not do justice to the mass murder of innocent Palestinians, to the constant bombings on the civilians. A conflict becomes unjust when one has destructive weaponry and the other has stones, but they will keep throwing those stones, courageously protecting their homes. The children are crying, wishing for the freedom of the birds that are flying, but the only thing flying is their souls after dying. Childhood is playing in the rain, but all the kids in Palestine know is suffering, occupation, and pain. Childhood is playing with friends and living your best life, but all the kids in Palestine know they could die before 5. Not only our homes, our possessions, our property are occupied, but also our lives stolen too. You posted your support when it was trendy, while you watched us suffer through your screens, but you only cared about us when it could boost your self-esteem. PLM wasn't created to gain you followers. The second the trend was over, these voices stopped supporting. But guess what? The attack's not over. Families still mourn, fight, protect, defend. We don't need your support that's pretend, support that only comes when it's a trend. Attention is redirected to Western places. Other problems avoided because of their races. Our needs are pushed further down the priority list, and somehow we're constantly getting missed. People say we're the ones to start wars, but tell me, what would you do if someone smashed down your doors? 75 years and counting, Palestinians defend themselves from the attack. Do you think we would give up our freedom and just stand back? We won't stand there doing nothing and watch our family die. We won't let them say it's their land, because that's a lie. You can't tell me the Israeli were here first. This land they do not hold. The oldest city is a part of Palestine, which is over 11,000 years old. But despite the injustice, the invasion, the attack, Palestinians persist and continue to fight back. If we forget about the tragedy, now it's not a trend. There's no way we can expect this brutal war to come to an end.
Thank you for that very moving poem. The scores, judges? 4.8, 4.9, 4.9, and a 4.5. Okay. Our next poet is Dominica in grade 9, performing an oral story labeled That Day.
I remember it was a pretty good day. As usual, after school, I came back to my homestay. While texting my friends, I got a call. My dad's name was in the phone. Weird, I thought. It was 7 in the evening here, which meant it was 5 a.m. for him. Being confused, I picked up the call. Looking at him, I asked, Tato, what's wrong? I saw a couple of bags at the back. He looked serious, worried, and scared. He finally mumbled the word. War. War came to our home. He told me the story of how he woke up. The walls were shaking and bombs falling down. Finding the biggest bag, my dad had 20 minutes to pack. Finishing the story, Father whispered again, Dominica, it will be okay, and fled from a house miles away. I remember how I felt. After the call, I didn't move at all. Sitting still, I went through my head. Every moment of my life passed by. My parents, my dog, my house, and my world. The world I lived in all my life. I don't know how to name what I felt at the time. Overthinking tortured my mind, and slowly, tears went down my cheeks. I had to be quiet so no one would hear, but truly, I had a need to scream. I was weak. I was like a lost child in the park, left alone without being known, being out of my zone. I was weak. I've never valued my home. I wanted to change who I am and where I'm from, but now it's all gone. Only memories are left of the life I've known. But my question is, how long will it last? For how long I will not be able to visit home? For how long? For how long I'm gonna stay alone? Thinking of all, remembering how good was back home, shatters my soul. And with all of this, I just wanted to say, I miss you, Ukraine.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Judges, can we see those scores? We have a 4.9, a 4.8, a 4.9, and a 5. Next up, we have Amaris Kim with I Am Free.
Hey, have you ever heard of people saying that you should be smart, you should be good at everything, you should go to a prestigious university or college, graduate successfully, and get a good job that gives you high wages? Some of you are familiar with this, and some of you are not. Since I was little, I've heard of this a lot. Yes, you heard me, a lot. People told me to be smart, that I should be better than any others. They call that a happy life, that being perfect is a happy life. But I questioned this a lot. Why is everyone saying that I should be perfect? Why should I be perfect? And why can't I seek something that I desire? Anyways, I followed what they told me to do. I chased after what they wanted instead of my imagination and fantasy I dreamt of. My mindset and perspective changed as they wanted. They trapped me in a tiny box of pursuing perfection and made me become a doll, their doll. Since then, I considered that I needed perfect family, perfect friends, perfect grades, and talented skills. Everything, anything in my life had to be perfect. But one day, everything changed. The perspective of being a perfect kid changed. I was just a normal elementary school student who took a vocabulary test. And when I got the result back, I was so disappointed in myself because I did not get the perfect grade I wanted. That day, I felt misery. I knew everyone was looking at me. I felt so anxious. And this embarrassment was coming through my lungs. It became a burst of tears in my eyes. I cried so much that I could not even raise a head for a while. When I was crying, my teacher approached me and said that there are more things than instead of pursuing being perfect, that there are more purposes I can find instead of being perfect, that there are more meaningful things instead of being perfect. She comforted me with those soft words, saying that it is okay to be not perfect. And because of her advice, I was able to stand again. In the beginning, I was surrounded by thick barriers that I could not even break and had to follow what everyone told me to do. But in the end, those thick barriers surrounding me were broken down into pieces and became ashes. And I was able to get up there and say that I am free from all those pressures I had to feel. And to all those people who's trying to be perfect, who's pursuing perfection and trying to be smart, I want to say it is okay not to be perfect, but just try your best to reach your goal. And one day, you find the true meaning, the true purpose of your life, and spread your wings to the sky like a bird and say that you are free.
Amazing performance. Judges, let's see. We have a 4.5, a 4.6, another 4.5, and a 4.4. Next up is Kate, a grade 9, doing her spoken word titled Simply Random Thoughts.
They say your blood starts off blue. Who knows if this is true? But the switch to red occurs with O2. Therefore, by being in space, my blood comes out blue. As a curious person myself, I often wonder some crazy things, asking questions without simple answers, and the frustration that it brings. So today, I'm keen to share with you, wondering maybe you're confused too. One after another, a new one appears, these small little hairs that stop at my ears. We call them baby hairs. They always return. I'll grow them right out, but somehow they're back. If I lose a hair, will one take its path? Itching, scratching, peeling, picking, all useful abilities of fingernails. But looking down, I often wonder, well, why do I have toenails? Each toe is covered with a nail, so what could it be for? Not itching nor peeling, picking, or scratching, so protection from stubbing a door? Just a few months old, and there it is, your first little baby tooth. Now 6 years later, you're back at square one, and now they've all come loose. All that hard work down the drain. Here comes your second set. Well, what was wrong with the first? I couldn't tell you yet. The dodo bird, great mammoth, and Tasmanian tiger extinct. But how do we know that they are all gone? Have we searched the planet? In some sort, possibly. But do we know for sure? With all these hidden spaces here and there, how can we be sure? The cereal comes before the milk. Surely that's a given. But why is it that certain foods are to be eaten at breakfast? They tell you that pizza, salad, soup, and fries are all foods that do not fit. So just eat some fruit or a bagel, maybe something with a pit. Why these foods? Why the morning? I simply do not know. I think we can all agree that music sounds better when coming from a speaker. It travels one to another through something we call Bluetooth. But how is it possible for a sound to travel through the air while simply only needing to pair? These are all things I cannot begin to understand. Each person, each mind has a different level of knowledge and understanding. So with this, you may have sat here super bored and confused, just pondering how I find these things so very hard to understand. Because maybe you can understand the flight of an airplane or know why we have baby teeth, but I do not. If we're being real here, the answers to these questions don't count for much, and I know that I will not suffer the consequences of not knowing what makes up a breakfast food. Because it's not about that, but it is about having the ability to respect the levels of knowledge and understanding of others. So my lacking knowledge of how Bluetooth works or why silent letters are applied should not be a reason for my worth to be questioned. Denoting that, the way you treat someone who may not know the same language you speak, or the worth of someone who may be falling way behind in your math class, should in addition not impact the respect they are shown. So next time your friends ask you why we have toenails, just do them a solid, share them your knowledge, and don't let them question their worth.
Thanks so much, Kate, for those interesting questions. Judges, let's see those scores. We have a 4.6, a 4.5, a 4.9, and a 4.8. That is all our poets for this block, unfortunately. Let's give a final round of applause for all our poets. They did absolutely amazing. Now please turn to your teachers for further instructions and have a great rest of your day. Hold on.
Because we have a little bit more time, do you want to watch the senior films? Right? Kira, is that possible? Okay, if you put that on, and then I can put on the senior, yeah, and I'll...
Hello?
Hi, sweetie, I'm at the store. Did you all see the different look at it out?
We sure did. It looks great.
Okay, I'm gonna be home by 6, so who's that?
Okay, sounds great. See you soon.
Bye.
here at 6. And she expects all those decorations to be up and the entire house to be spotless.
How are we going to get this done?
Andrew Matthew, hang up the decorations. Ruby Georgia, finish the laundry. And everybody else, just start cleaning.
Are they staying?
Yeah, they absolutely. You guys are staying for.
Wait, do you have a pen? No, for sure. Do the list. Could I grab the list?
You guys. You're going 5th year after Maddie. You're Megan, right? So you're after Emma, and then before Maddie, you're 3rd. Okay. 3rd is the best. Okay. Keep this here because it has all the scoring. This, I'll put here just in case.
Yeah, just like that. It has the end part.
Thank you.
Lean forward a little bit, and it'll be good. You know what? I don't want a Kit Kat bar now. Maybe I don't know.
I want the Skittles. I think. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much. Oh, that's good. Yeah. No, that's extra.
It was good. Yeah. It was way easier
Emma,
than
what is
actually
your favorite?
beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, this is. I'm not scared at all.
Exactly. I was less scared because the focus is on the poets. So you're like, okay.
Yeah, I'm like,
I know you do your thing. Although, oh my gosh, my poor vision. I was like, and so I was like, please write big judges.
You said 4.5 and it was
like
4.7. I was like,
I think that's the right number. And then they would angle their like boards like this way.
Yeah.
And so you're like, please, like just move it down.
Okay, so that's what Microsoft did to make sure that they keep it flat.
Yeah, and like right big.
Okay, right big. Yeah. This is the thing.
Thank you.
And we didn't do it as much. Like prep us sometimes. Like if they say something really like important,
Just write the scores next to it right now. Just
Hello.
oh, it doesn't work.
and so if no one else beats that, which there's 3 words to beat.
Yeah.
We're best friends. Can you hear anyone?
Good luck and don't.
That was really interesting. It's
The person that was doing one on Palestine went right before her did one on Ukraine. And I was like, whoa.
Please help yourself.
The second one I was there. I really like the second one.
Okay, I'll keep it.
It's not going to be good, but I know it. Because like if I'm standing here.
Hello.
You can lower the microphone.
Can they hear me?
Hello. Yeah.
I'm not.
It's not loud.
Do you think you'll be able to hear me if I go like this? Still? So you know how I go being a weak?
You're loud.
No, it's not. I was making weird noises.
I feel like it's like actually the perfect.
Hello. It's not working.
And then
Kira, is everything okay? Kira, is everything okay? Cool. I can hear the buzz, just so you know.
I'll give you the thumbs up for the time to so in the meantime, these guys are going downstairs here. But I'll be like,
I'll start off the dance and
Are you nervous? What do you mean am I nervous? Let's go, you're gonna win! So, yeah. We're starting from Mary. Yeah. This person is like, they're not gonna win.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else? I think this is exactly this one. On this, we really want to focus on here. Then you just say, if you have time, if you want to look here, just say, just to warn them. If we have time, maybe we can watch the senior one as well. Okay?
I'll start with like a little thank you thing at the end, just to like kind of wrap it out.
Creative.
Good.
That's good.
Okay, do you want me to leave a pen if you want to add, or you
We have a pen here, but thank you. That covers it. Pick one. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, okay, okay.
Just